Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now guys, the RAPE culture in Nigeria is not anything new. This is something that's been going on since time immemorial, where guys would, against a girl's will, impose themselves on her physically, and this happens all of the time and in every state of the country. So this is not anything of ethnicity, because this happens across all of the ethnic groupings within Nigeria, and this is a culture that is very much satiated within the Nigerian space and within the Nigerian being and within the Nigerian psyche. This is something that goes on forever. So now this culture is now being challenged off the back of that Dakolo and Fatoyinbo situation. So this culture is now being challenged, and people are now speaking out more, and the authorities are now paying even more attention to this goings on, and about time too, in my opinion. So now guys, I bring you this. Aisha Buhari calls for justice to be served on two teachers who allegedly molested blind students. So that's the headline. Again, Aisha Buhari calls for justice to be served on two teachers who allegedly molested blind students. So this is now the goings on now, and this goings on is now being challenged quite fervently and quite fiercely within the Nigerian space. So let's get into the body of it. First Lady Aisha Buhari has reacted to reports of two teachers of the FCT School for the Blind, Jabi, suspended for allegedly molesting female students of the school. The two teachers, Mr. Ilo Chukuma and Mr. Ebenezer Olateju, were suspended after the unscheduled visit to the school by the permanent secretary of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Chinyeka Oha, on Wednesday. The errant teachers were also told to stay clear of the school premises pending the conclusion of the investigation. So now let me insert a video clip of the visit of the permanent secretary of the Federal Capital Territory to that school to challenge these teachers on the goings on and the reports that they've been receiving. So this is a visit of the permanent secretary going to the school unannounced to confront and challenge these teachers and interview everybody within that premises to find out exactly what is at the heart of this matter. So here's the video.
Arriving at the school of the blind Jabi, the management was shocked to see the permanent secretary and his team, as the visit was an impromptu one. Head FCTA call center Dr. Jumai Amodu explained that the visit was occasioned by complaints received at the call center bordering on severe sexual abuse by the teachers.
There's a case of a teacher that raped a student, somebody Leonard or so, that was investigated, but nothing was done about the teacher still in the school. So that's the summary of the report that we got, and that's the management.
The permanent secretary immediately called the students and teachers involved to verify if the allegations were true. The blind school girls, whose identity journalists were told to conceal, narrated some of the most shocking stories the ear could ever hear. They said this blind man, Mr. Okechukwu Chukuma, who is their teacher, do fiddle with sensitive parts of their bodies. Mr. Okechukwu Chukuma is living in the school compound with his wife and children. A partially blind girl says the teacher, who often sits at the back seat of the school bus whenever they are going out, always chooses a preferred student of his choice to sit with him. She disclosed that most times she sees him touching their breasts and putting his hands in very sensitive parts of their bodies while the movement lasts. When asked if it is true or not, the blind teacher took over 10 minutes telling tales which aggrieved the permanent secretary and his team.
My problem with Victoria was that I discovered that Victoria was going backward, and I made a mistake. I quarreled her before the children in the class.
The worst seems to be that of this teacher who is not blind, Mr. Ebenezer. The students said whenever they seek his assistance to guide them to their hostels, he leads them into a nearby hotel where he drugged them to sleep and thereafter raped them. Senior staff of the school confirmed receiving report that he has slept with the guests 6 times in this manner.
The finding was that
It's true.
it's true.
That he drugged the girl?
Yes.
And he took the girl to the hotel?
Yes.
That was the report from all of them.
6 times?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Speaking to newsmen before leaving the school premises, the visibly angry permanent secretary condemned the actions of the teacher, saying it was a betrayal of trust.
Anybody that is found guilty will be dismissed automatically and prosecuted. I've told them there that at the end of the day, if they are culpable, they will be prosecuted. Not only that they will be dismissed, they will also be prosecuted. And there is no joking about that. This is just an example. And because of the that we are in democracy and we know the president we are serving, that is why I'm even giving the room for the investigation, because from what I've seen now, I'm terribly angry. And I should have even pronounced the full weight of the consequences of what I have done. Like I said there, the Caesar's wife should be above board. If you are in school, we believe in you, we trust you, that you can take these children to the next level. But if you decide to be the one we'll be afraid of, we'll discipline you accordingly.
Mr. Ebenezer, who is living outside the school premises, was directed to always make himself available whenever the investigative panel needs him. The discoveries and revelation at the FCT School of the Blind, Jabi, is indeed very worrisome and disturbing. The prompt intervention of Permanent Secretary Christian Oha and subsequent suspension of the 2 teachers involved in the despicable act is obviously commendable. From the FCTA head office here in Garki, I'm Mikaro Atta, ITV News, Abuja.
So there you saw in that video the permanent secretary visibly angered, and you can see the reason for his anger, and I for one am angry with him, and I'm sure you are angry with him too. And you can see already from the demeanor of the people being accused that there is guilt in both their body language and the tone of their voice, but you can't attribute guilt, of course, until an investigation has been concluded. But in as far as you can confer guilt based on just the visuals, you can see from the visuals and their interaction with that investigation that they are culpable, and the school is also aware that they are culpable. What also disturbed me is that there's been 6 incidents of reports against these teachers, or at least one of them, to the school authorities, which the school authorities in that interview virtually admitted that they believe to be true, and those teachers or that teacher is still carrying on in that school. So now what deterrent is there for him to stop this sort of thing, and what sort of punishment has he been given to deter him for lessons to be learned when 6 allegations has been made, and this guy just carries on being in the school to carry on with the things that he does? So now let's get back to the story. The first lady, in her reaction to the RAPE incident, called for justice to be served and also thanked the permanent secretary of the FCTA for swinging into action almost immediately, sharing a video of the visit. Aisha Buhari wrote, #say no to RAPE. This is disheartening. Justice must be served. Thanks to PalmSec FCT for swinging into action. RAPE shouldn't be taken lightly. So now this is the second time that Aisha Buhari has come out against, or come out rather to speak on this particular sort of matter, because she was very quick also to intervene and to give her opinion on the Fatoyinbo, the Kolo situation, and now she's now doubling down again with this one and directing and insisting that the authorities must not take this lightly. So those teachers, one, they should be suspended. I'm not quite sure what the legalities are around them being held in police custody, because they are suspect of what is effectively actual bodily harm in the form of RAPE. So certainly it should be within the purview of law to detain them at the law's pleasure until this investigation has been fully concluded, and they should be arraigned immediately in front of a judge, and a very strict judge at that, who will bring to bear the full weight of the law of Nigeria, to have these people put in kirikiri, where they are then made the girlfriend of somebody else, so that what they have been doing to these children will be done to them, obviously, by the people of kirikiri. So this is my own view. What is yours? Conversations in the comment section. I agree with Aisha Buhari broadly on this, although I'm no fan of Aisha. I would have been a fan of Aisha Buhari if she was not married to Malam Buhari, because there's everything to like about her. She's a pretty lady. She has some degree of education. She's socially aware. She's in tune with goings on within the country. She keeps herself up to speed with the instinct of the people, and when she speaks in public, what she has to say often tallies with the instinct of the population. But the only Achilles heel, her downside, what condemns her, of course, is being married to this fundamentalist extremist, this Fulani herdsman that she's married to. So that is what cancels her out in the mind of most Nigerian people. But on this, certainly, there's nothing to disagree with the position that she's taking. A lot of people will say, oh, but she's not taking a decision, position rather, against the far more egregious atrocities of her husband, and that is an argument I agree with too. But if we isolate this incident just to this incident, then I agree with what she has to say. Conversations in the comment section is what I am inviting around this. What are your thoughts about this sort of goings on, and the position that the Nigerian people and the Nigerian state and the whole Nigerian movement is now having as a response to this sort of thing? Because we've now had the Kolos, we've now had the slapping senator, and we've now had this latest incident, and the country is now pushing back to establish a new baseline as a minimum standard of our expectations for the country. So come have a chat with me about all this in the comment section. But before you come have that chat with me about all this in the comment section, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you are making of all this in the comment section. So I'll leave you here, join you in the comment section, but here I say peace.